Hello and welcome to another weekly Parsha Thoughts. This week is Parshat Balak. I'm Cantor Spiro from the Song Shul, and before we get started, be sure to click that subscribe button under the YouTube player now and follow it up by setting the notification bell settings to send you all the notifications for our newest videos. Each week, I also remind you to click the like button as well. But this week, I'd love to let you know how much we enjoy hearing from you. Head down to the comments below our video and share your thoughts so we can make this a real proper conversation. Isn't technology amazing? Let's jump right into this week's Parsha. Vayar Balak, and Balak saw. Balak, the king of Moab, was frightened of the Israelites and wanted to use the services of a prophet named Bilam to use his power of curses to bring the children of Israel down. But let's first get some background with some facts and statistics. It's quite astounding that throughout history, even the enemies of Israel are well aware that we believe that God is our protection, yet our enemies will use any means at their disposal to try and make us assimilate, thereby losing our identity as God's chosen people. It's equally fascinating to note that our greatest leaders have come from completely different beginnings. For example, Abraham, our first patriarch, came from a family of idolaters, yet sought out the one God, the one Creator. Joseph, who started out as a vain and narcissistic youth, eventually grew and matured into a righteous leader, who even forgave his own brother's terrible sin of planning fratricide against him. Moses, the baby boy born of Hebrew slaves, who was saved from the bulrushes on the River Nile and grew up as an Egyptian prince, became Israel's greatest prophet and the only person ever to speak to God, panim el panim, face to face. David, a young shepherd who composed songs dedicated to God. We call them psalms. David became the most famous king of Israel. Ruth, a pagan Moabite princess, displayed such care, love and compassion for wanting to become Jewish, eventually becoming the great-grandmother of that very same king, David. Also fascinating are the methods of how God gave us his commandments to keep faith with him. For example, at the eve of Passover, the Israelites were instructed to kill a lamb, a revered and sacred icon to the Egyptians, and smear that lamb's blood upon the doorposts of their dwellings, right in front of their Egyptian master's very eyes. They did so, and therefore the Malach HaMavet, the angel of death, passed over the Israelites' dwellings and spared the firstborn males. A simple, inanimate rock which would travel with the Israelites, and its purpose? Well, to supply fresh drinking water to the entire nation of Israel in the wilderness. To become ritually clean from coming into contact with a dead corpse or carcass, the ashes of a red heifer would indeed be the conduit to spiritual purity. God continually defies logic, so that our faith is based on our belief in God, which is all we need. So here's a question. The names of the three Parshiot, Korach, Chukat, and Balak, have one letter in common. Do you know what that letter is? It's the letter Kuf. Of what significance is there that in the Parsha of Korach, which we read 2 weeks ago, the Kuf is at the beginning? In Chukat, which we read last week, it is in the middle. And in Balak, which we read this week, it is at the end. Why? Well, here's the answer. The letter Kuf is the first letter of the word Kedusha, holiness. The Kuf, which comes at the beginning, middle, and end of these three Parshiot titles respectively, the positioning represents past, present, and future. Korach's attachment to holiness, was a thing of the past. His genealogy is traced to Jacob, but his time was done. He led a rebellion, he was filled with resentment and jealousy, and had no place in the future of the Jewish people. The Kuf is at the front. It's all already happened. No more relevancy. In Chukat, when one is spiritually defiled, he is detached from holiness. through being sprinkled with the ashes of the red heifer, he now becomes cleansed of his defilement and thus regains his sanctity. The kuf is right in the middle. This is a moment that is now and relevant. Balak, his attachment to holiness was a matter for the future. The kuf is at the end of the word, because Balak's future would be his granddaughter Ruth, who was the ancestor to King David and who will ultimately bring the Mashiach, our Messiah. We can see that even though Balak, the king of Moab, wanted to curse the Jewish people, his own granddaughter Ruth would ultimately be the connector to our King David. God always gives us curveballs and wanted the very words uttered by Bilam, a heathen prophet, to find itself planted into our very prayers that we say each and every day. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, mishkanotecha Yisrael. How goodly are your tents, O Jacob, the encampments of Israel. Shabbat Shalom.
This week, members of the Song Shul observe Yortzeit for the following people: Goldie Landis, Golda Roisa, mother of Lorraine Landis; Samuel Lewis Shields, Yehuda Shlomo ben Yonatan Chanoch, father of Victor Shields; Max Kaplan, mayor, father of Harvey Kaplan; Lillian Levine, Leah bat Abraham the Esther, mother of Marilyn Sklar; and Zisha Rosenblatt, mother of Miriam Federman. May their memories be for a blessing, and may their neshamot have aliyot at this time. This week we celebrate the birthdays of these members of the Song Shul: Renee Lipman, Wendy Poslins, and Lauren Breslin.
Mazal Tov and Yom Holedet Sameach to all our Song Shul members celebrating birthdays this coming week. And to all our Song Shul members commemorating Yortzeits for your loved ones, we wish you Chaim Aruchim, long life, and may the neshamot of your loved ones have an aliyah at this time. And we say Amen. Here we are, coming up to Shabbat in the middle of summer, and we are in Tammuz, the month of Tammuz. This Sunday is the fast day of Shiva Asa B'Tammuz, the 17th day of Tammuz, when historically the walls of the old city of Jerusalem were finally breached. It's a sad day, but we are going into Shabbat, which is the day of Menucha and Simcha, which is a beautiful day of rest and joy. And we wish you a very, very happy and peaceful Shabbat Shalom.
יום זה מכובד מכל ים